Hello, I think we're live now. Whoops. Just checking the system to see if we're up and running. Okay, looks like it's good. That's exciting, and so many of you are here already. Hello. I'm just gonna wait like 1 or 2 minutes just to let a couple more people jump on. But while we're waiting, why don't we go through and maybe write in the comments like where you're coming from, if you have any more questions. I have a ton of questions from you guys this time, so we're gonna try to go through those. And yeah, and we'll try to pick up the ones that are coming in now. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And if you're waiting right now with me, why don't you go grab a tea? If you're going to be collaging, grab your scissors or your setup or whatever it is. And we're going to have a really good time. At first, I wasn't sure what I was going to do on this call. I wasn't really sure if I was like motivated to try out the prompts, but today I went and I looked through a bunch of material and found some things that I was inspired by. So I'm hoping to start with using those. So yeah, we're gonna try to do the September prompts, which I hope you guys are ready for. We are almost done September, so it's a little bit near the end, but I hope that, gives us a last shot to try them out before we move on to the next one. Just gonna read some of the comments here. Hello, hello, we got 2 from the States already. I know a bunch of people are messaging me saying they're coming from like all over the world. So I really appreciate you guys coming at times that aren't exactly great for you. I'm sorry about that. It's hard to find a time that's good for every single person in the whole world, right? So hello from Manila. Hello. Yeah, there's just like so many people. So I'm so glad that we're able to like get together and talk collage because that's my passion. Obviously your passion if you're here. So yeah, why don't we jump into it? I just saw a question come in from the Chronic Creative saying, are there any open call themes you have done that you have found creatively challenging or interesting? This one's kind of interesting for me because I've done open calls, but usually I'm applying with things that I've already created, so it's like easier. So if I see one that's like space themed, or like there's one that was like find something from the vintage store, I was like, oh perfect, like vintage magazines, perfect. So those are ones that I've had. I just applied for a magazine called Broccoli, and then there's one called Mushroom. So they're about like psychedelics, I guess, and weed. But those ones are easy because I feel like I have like the stepping stone piece that's called Stepping Stones, and it's 2 mushrooms, and the feet are coming down onto them. So I applied with that one. So hopefully that gets in. Versus like using an actual like theme, I haven't had to do that yet. What did I write here? So yeah, usually like I haven't done like an open call yet, but I would love to give that a shot for sure. Hello everyone, and hello from the UK. Hello, welcome. So we're gonna get started with some questions. Oh my goodness, there's so many of you. Hello, hello. So that was the first one that was here that I see. All the other ones are just people talking. So hello, hello. Hello from SK, Saskatchewan, I'm guessing. Canada as well. So we got some Canadians. Hello. So okay, we're gonna jump into the questions and then we're gonna start creating. And I hopefully will keep this to an hour. Usually it ends up being an hour and a half. So we'll see. So the first question was on the comments. What do you prefer, a one-off piece or a series? And this question is one that I thought about for a while, and it's something that I feel like is different for each piece that I make. So I think that like when you're creating a series, it's like so obvious when you're starting it. Like for example, like if I have an advertisement with like 3 of the same woman, for example, it happens kind of similarly. I end up trying to use those, or maybe if I'm making like a whole bunch of things, I can like grab those papers, put them in a pile, see what's kind of working, what's not, and then sometimes it's like just like naturally happens. But then sometimes I'm doing like just one-off series, and then yeah, you have like leftovers and then it becomes a series. Most of the time I'm not planning on making a series. The one that I've been working on for a very long time is I call it the Explosion Families one, where there's like an explosion in the background and some sort of like happy family in the foreground, or some sort of like group or loved ones or whatever, or maybe like war scene in the background. Those types of ones where it's like trying to emote like how the people are actually feeling versus like the photo that was taken. That one for me will probably be an ongoing series forever. I've just keep like this half of this pile here is just like explosion pictures now. So I have so many of them. So that one's a good one. I think that both are very useful tools when it comes to like trying to do different ones and push yourself. Doing a series, I think, is going to push yourself just because you have to come up with multiple things that go together. And having cohesive work is really important as artists. So that's kind of something that's good to try. I think that like it doesn't have to be a super closely connected series, but it's good to be able to show that like if someone was like put on a show with a theme, could you make like 5 or 6 pieces? Yes or no? And if you're saying yes, then that's like a great skill to develop. And if you're saying no, then it's something to give a try, right? Too. I think that it's really hard because I really struggled before I decided that like collage was it. I tried so many different mediums. And I was jumping all over the place and my work looked so different. And then now that I have collage, I just feel like I'm so good at like making a series or whatever and making my work more cohesive because I feel like I have like a real voice in it. So hopefully that answers the question. I'm just gonna check in here. Oh, thank you guys. Hello everyone. The next question is, are you using any new cool tools for collaging? And that one's a little bit difficult. I haven't used anything super new. I have one in reach that I've kind of been liking. I have these like super old vintage fabric shears, and I think they're pretty interesting just because like they have all the original packaging. They're very pretty. And they're huge. This is like a big pair of scissors, but they have like the blade is like, I don't know if I can show that, but it's a zigzag. So it has like a zigzag. So I thought that that would be kind of fun for cutting, and it's really easy to cut paper with because it's obviously for fabric. So they're extremely sharp. But I really liked using these for like cutting edges or just trying to make something like a little bit more interesting and that sort of thing. So yeah, I would maybe give these a try if you're interested. And the other one, let me just grab it. Thought I had it over here. Is this, oops, I'm shaking everything. This circle cutter. So this circle cutter is one that I just recently got. I used it for the collage o'clock video. And basically it has a very little tiny knife here. It's pointy, but it's not too sharp. And it has like extra ones in here. And basically you can set it with this little lock and unlock, and you just twist it, and let's say you want a 7-inch, and it has a little dial, so let's say we want like a 7-inch circle. Just do that, press it into the paper, hold it down, and then I hold this as well down. I think some people don't put a lot of pressure on this, but you need to. And then, you know, just give it a go, and then you have like perfect circles every single time, and you can do some pretty fun things with them. So I would definitely give this a try. I've just kind of started my Amazon storefront, so that's like Amazon. I have it .com and .ca so far. I'm gonna work on doing all the other ones, but this is a great tool I got off Amazon. It's linked, I think, below potentially for my storefront. But yeah, you can get those there. Highly recommend. It's been really fun, and I feel like if I have a paper that I'm not really sure what to do with now, I can just cut circles on it, and then I'm like, oh, these are kind of cool and interesting, and I think for like my abstract pieces or my junk journal, they're going to be very great for that. Just gonna check in here. I'll answer these ones first and then I'll go back to those ones. How is the new studio setup working for you? I always like to enjoy sitting in front of the window if I can. I love it. This has been amazing. Like right now what I have, I'll show you guys after, I guess. But I have like I have this one for when I'm recording overhead and one here now. And I feel like this is like the perfect lighting. You get the full studio, and like having a desktop, like I feel like my back already hurts a lot less because I was like before just like hunched over a little laptop. My face was always forward. I feel like now I can like actually sit properly, and yeah, it just like gives me more space. The funny thing is I wanted a dedicated space to my computer area, but now I'm just using it for my collage as well. So I'll just like pull up the keyboard, and if I need like an extra place to put paper, it works out for that. So far so good, I guess, and I've really liked it. So yeah, and then I'll answer the next question. I have some show and tells for it. The next question is, what are your book recommendations? Which is definitely a hard thing to answer. because there's so many books, but I think like I read a lot of books and I can like recommend them, but like I feel like when it comes to collage books, I haven't found that many great ones. So I only have a couple. I put some in my Amazon storefront, not to link it again, but like there's a whole list there of about like 20 books that I've read or collected and think are worthy of a read. But these are the two that like if you are a collage artist, you need. This one, I don't think you can even get this on Amazon, but it's called Appropriation. It's from Whitechapel Gallery, which is in the UK. My mom got it for me there, and this is like a textbook. This is not like an easy read. I'm actually not even done it yet. I usually don't like to recommend books that I haven't finished. I've read about that much, so about like, I don't know, what, like 3/5 of the way done. And this book's been great because it really is a textbook. It's basically like a book of every single artist that's in collage, any of their essays talking about collage, and it's really, really dense in some parts. Honestly, the first intro, like I read it at first and I was like, oh my God, this book's gonna be like impossible to read. And then I actually just skipped it and read that much and then went back and everything made like so much more sense. So it's good to know that I'm like learning, and it's interesting to hear because some of these articles are from like the 1900s. So they're talking about like appropriation or what they called photo montage at the time instead of collage. And there's like writers from Cindy Sherman, Andy Warhol, Barbara Kruger, just a whole bunch. And it's talking about like the influence of like where collage kind of started, and a lot of people say that it's actually from like Russian propaganda was like the beginning of it, which is cool to see. And so like yeah, we talked about like all the way from like that point to now, and it talks yeah, just like really in depth about like all the things that are touching on with collage. I don't know where else you could buy this. Probably Whitechapel, like the actual store, because it says it's published by them. It's 2009. And they have like a bunch of different categories of which the things are. There's like post-colonialism, post-communism, the feminist critique of collage, post-production, yeah, just like a whole bunch of different categories. It's, as I said, very dense. I think this is a book that you buy and you read it throughout like a year. You don't read it in one go, that is for sure. And then it has like all the list of artists on the back of it. And it's by like, yeah, as I said, Whitechapel Gallery, which is one of my favorite galleries. If you're ever in England, highly recommend going to it. So this book is amazing, highly recommend. The next one is maybe an obvious one, maybe people have read it, but it's Steal Like an Artist. It's a very, very simple read. I could read this in one sitting, but I recommend you kind of break it up so that it actually like sits in your head, unless you're one of those like geniuses that can just read a book and absorb it all, or read it a couple times. I just wanted to read like one of the quotes in it that I think summarizes the entire book. It says, "What is originality? Undetected plagiarism." And I think with collage, that is 100% what we're doing, right? It's undetected plagiarism. You don't want to just like read, like, I don't know, you just don't want to like take papers and like make them nothing different. Like, what are you saying? What is your message as an artist? And I think that this really like talks about that. And even just like the beginning part, like really talks about like, you can be influenced by someone, but what is your take on the thing? And I think that that's what I do really, not to boost myself, but that's what I do really well in my work, I think, is that I take something that doesn't say something and I add meaning to it by giving it a dialogue piece, by adding juxtaposition, by working through those problems. So yeah, it's a great book. Let me see how many pages this is. I think it's like 150 pages. Half of them are just like words and pictures, but I think like sometimes pictures stick with you longer. So yeah, I just highly recommend giving this a look. If anyone else has read it and wants to recommend it, please tune in. But yeah, I think that it's simple, it's easy. Again, I have this in my Amazon storefront, so that one's good. Oh my goodness, so many comments. Let me try to catch up a little bit. The DIY skills. I wish I should have showed more of like how janky putting this desk together was, because it was a hot take, a hot take for good DIY skills. Hoping to build those one day so that I can actually like bring that into my channel, because I love DIYing, but I'm so bad at it. I have too much confidence when I do it, to be honest. That's my really big problem. Thank you for tuning in and saying Steal Like an Artist is great. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you like his stuff. Yeah, highly recommend. Okay, so there we go. Those are your book recommendations that you've asked for. The next question is, we saw your first week of what you were doing, and what did you do for this week? So that question's definitely loaded. There's a lot that I did this week, but I will talk about like the few couple top things that I did. So I went and I re-got my prints are reprinted. So I know in the video I was showing this one that is new. So I'm going to release this week, I think, which is exciting, maybe Saturday. So this is the one that got printed that I really didn't like the colors of. And then this is the brand new one. And I hope you can see the difference. It's very subtle, but this one just has like more value and like the border is the right size. But we were able to get those. And here's like a better example. They like cut these to the wrong size. But this is the right one. And this is the one that they did before. You can see how washed out she is. And the size is wrong a little bit. So just by like ½ inch for some reason. But yeah, so I got all of these reprinted and I will restock them in my store very soon. So very excited about that. I've been working on my digital download, so I am planning on releasing like an ebook, I'll call it, or like digital downloads, for example. So I'm gonna scan as many things as I can and then put it into a book format and then put that also into a PNG file so that people can just download them and then collage with them, either using like Photoshop or just any program basically, or you could take those PNGs and print them out to whatever size you wanted to. Right, so I think that that's hopefully going to be really fun, and I could see that being like an amazing challenge. Like you can download the ebook and then just like make things with it and see what everyone's making with the same pieces. I think is kind of a really fun idea. So I've been working on that. Where's my paper? I wrote down some things just so I didn't like forget. Yeah, so I've done 100 images on that, and it's not enough. So I definitely want to do like 200 to 300 images. I've been emailing people for collabs, so I have some really exciting collaborations coming up on my channel, which will be very fun. Hope you guys can tune in for that. I wrote, scripted, and recorded parts of 4 videos this week, which is a lot. I was very motivated. Why are there always ambulances? I swear to God, I've never heard an ambulance without going on live, so I'm sorry about that. And yeah, so that's kind of the update. Oh, I could also show this. I did my art class, so I'm in an art class for painting right now because I wanted to try out some new things. And these are my 2 final pieces. They're both kind of, I mean, I don't want to tell you what they are right away, but they're abstract artworks, and basically I took acrylic paint and glue and smothered them on a Ziploc bag and then teared those off and then made some backgrounds and pasted them on. But I think it's better this way. But I think that they look like 2 faces almost. Like this one almost giving me like a Mona Lisa vibe. And this one, I don't know, it's just like more of like a masculine vibe, even though it's like lighter colors, which I think is interesting. So those are the 2 final pieces that I did in art school, which was really fun. And it's fun because it's kind of like collage, but I felt like I was pushed, which is nice. Let me... Excited that you guys like the digital download ebook. Yeah, I think it'll be really fun, and it'll have like all the images that I've used is kind of my hope, and like some other things obviously, but then it's like something that, yeah, we can all create with together, which is kind of cool, and it's all the vintage stuff that I find. So if you don't have access to like vintages, then this is like a great resource for that for sure. Okay, next one. Okay, this one was a really long question. I think this one's from Rottenly Moody Child. Have you managed to streamline your workflow and process? How have you achieved that? Any tips? Anything you don't do anymore? How have you gotten better? It's a loaded question, but it's one that I think that, you know, it's all the same question in one. So how has my process changed since I started? So I just said in one of my last videos that when I first started, I was using like older, like probably 2010s magazines versus like, you know, newer ones. I guess at the time they were new. So I basically would take those cut up pieces and then throw away anything I'd cut out that I didn't use that time. And then when I switched to vintages, I was like, oh, these are so precious. Like, what am I going to do with them? And so I started with like Ziploc bags and worked my way up to like different methods. And my process has gotten a lot faster, I would say, just because of practice. I've been creating collages now. I don't know. I like to say my whole life. Like in grade school, I used to cover like the binders in my locker and those types of things. And it was always like my choice to do that and like work with those things. But how has it changed is like I've just scaled exponentially and my speed has gotten faster. If you guys have watched my organization video, I have like this, try to this has been the biggest change for me and it's amazing. It helps really streamline everything that I do. So I am able to sort out papers that I've cut and then the ones that I am actually using immediately are like these ones, and I have a pile behind me that we're going to work with. And so I guess like I'm trying to how do I want to say this, but I think that like my process has gotten faster because my organization skills have gotten better, but I'm still not like super organized. But I think that that's where creative thoughts happen, is when you're a little bit disorganized. You're like, you don't want everything to be like so streamlined that you're like, oh, I need a car for this one, I need, I don't know, a draft for this one or whatever, and putting them together. It's like you need some like magic to happen, which is like the randomness of what's happening, right? So you don't want everything to be so predictable that you're making just like whatever. So I think that like in that regard, like organization is really important for streamlining your process. However, you need to have like some organization and some disorganization for that part. The second part I want to talk about is like piles of potential. That's kind of where all of my pieces start. So I actually start with having all these piles like this, which when I'm going through, I'll be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. And then I'll see like, I don't know, some phrase that's kind of like misogynistic. I'm like, oh, what if we put that with like all these women that are like holding phones or like whatever. And then I start collecting them like as I'm going. And so I like to have smaller piles when I'm going through my material. So I actually don't go through like a whole bin at once. I usually go through like, I don't know, 100 to 200 papers maximum at a time. And then I form those little piles and then they kind of sit on my desk like this. And then that way when I'm like, okay, I gotta make a video or I want a collage, then I'm able to like grab all those piles, and one of the times, you know, most of the time, one of them is gonna catch my eye and I'm gonna be inspired by it, and then I'll be able to use that piece as a starting point. And then that's when I go to this bin and I'll start flipping through all these pieces and trying to figure out like what do I need for this piece to be better. How can I improve it? What would be quirky or funny, or you know, like any of those things? That's when I go to this, because then I'm looking for something specific. I'm looking for like an appliance, or I don't know, like anything. Or like I go to my binder of people if I want like another person. If I'm like, oh, this girl's good, but what would happen if I put like a really angry looking man? Then that's when we head to here, for example. And so there's kind of this way of like just letting your imagination flow. And I feel like that's what I've gotten good at, is not getting in the way of myself. Before, I used to be like, oh, I'm not sure about this or whatever. And I guess that's related to confidence, which wink, wink, if you're on the call, my next video is going to be all about like confidence and the relationship with artistry and confidence, basically, for this week. And I think that that'll cover, honestly, a lot of what we're talking about right now. Because the next part of that question was, do you have decision anxiety? Do you struggle? Do you struggle with what to do with your images, or do you feel like regretting a choice later? Or does self-belief come within your practice and experience? And I definitely think that like, yes, a level of experience is extremely important. You want to be able to like trust yourself, right? And trust that you're going to make the best choice. And that comes with like practice again. Like it's just about doing as much as you possibly can. And I think too, like a piece of that is interesting that I do, and maybe you guys, if you guys have a scanner, this is a great option, is I actually like to scan in all the pieces that I'm using before I glue them. And that way, if I come up with another option or I find something else, I'm like, oh no, I should have done this. Like it's a very easy swap. Versus if you glue it down and then you're like, oh God, I made the wrong decision, and then you get afraid of that like again and again, then that's a problem, right? So this way I'm able to like streamline everything to be scanned. Most of the time I never regret anything I've done so far. Like every once in a while, I feel that way about like one or two pieces where I'm like, oh darn, wish I found this before. Um, but yeah, definitely give that a try. Um, I would say like if you have a scanner, if you have like a printer scanner, just scan in the pieces before, and then that way it gives you like a breath of fresh air. Or you could try scanning it, printing it out, and then using that option if you're like, oh, I really don't know, and then you keep your more precious original version for like the next piece that you do. But yeah, that's just kind of how I feel. I hope that that made sense to you guys. I'm just gonna check here. There's so many questions. It asked here, would you combine your painting with your collage in the future? Um, Definitely would try. I definitely did that in high school a lot, like mixed media, but I feel like now that I've done painting again, like I'm actually hating it. Like it's like so messy. It's all on your fingers. I don't know. Like it's just like it's not really speaking to me the way that I thought. Like I took this class to try to like reunite and then see if that was gonna work. But yeah, it's just like actually been the exact opposite of that. Like maybe I'll get through it. Like I've only been to 2 classes now. But I feel like I just am not enjoying it because I'm like, oh, well, I wish I was collaging, which is kind of the exact opposite, but maybe it's making me feel like I'm doing the right thing. Not sure. Um, I definitely agree with this one. Sometimes I'm working on a collage and worry that my final piece hasn't been changed enough, but I'm afraid to go too far and ruin the piece. Any thoughts on that? Um, yeah, that one's a tough one for sure. I think that like it depends on how much change you're doing, right? Like I think that like if you're just like taking a pretty photo and putting some flowers behind it, sure, like like it's not really changing anything. There's no real new meaning, and I think that like meaning comes down to it for me at least. If you're just doing it for personal use, like whatever. Um, but if it's like to push yourself and push your medium, like I think that it's important to try to like add one more thing, for example, or like if you just try more, like if you're like, oh, it might be finished, and then you keep looking and you keep adding things, then maybe you could try to see if that would help you. um, I definitely feel like, yeah, sometimes if it's just like two pieces, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, is this enough, or have I significantly changed the meaning? Um, yeah, it can be difficult for sure. So that one's a tough one. I'm feeling a little bit mind boggled on that one. But hopefully that helped. I wonder if anyone else has any ideas on that concept. Um, do you ever feel like the final piece hasn't changed enough for you, and that you're afraid that you haven't gone far enough in changing it, and you don't want to ruin your piece as well? Would love to know what you guys think. Definitely like that idea. What if I released digital downloadable ebook that are for the monthly prompts that you could like use certain pieces? Definitely love that idea. Definitely be a little bit more work, but I definitely could do that. Glad I could answer your questions. It's yeah, it's hard to get your thoughts out sometimes, and I feel that way too whenever I'm making videos. Is sometimes I'm like, did I even make sense when I did this? But yeah, it's hard when you have like these huge questions to answer. Sometimes to break them down into smaller pieces. So hope that that helps. But yeah, I just okay. I think those are all the questions, unless you guys have any other ones. And if not, we're just gonna jump into creating. I mean, this has been like almost 30 minutes of me just answering questions. So yeah, why don't we head over, and then I will just keep checking in here every once in a while. Okay, glad that helped, guys. Thank you. Amazing. Yeah, why don't we jump into it? I want to show you guys what we're doing. I'm going to put my prompt list up on my screen. So this is the September list if you're tuning in and want to create some things with us. It's under my community tab on my YouTube. So if you go to the channel, it'll say like video shorts playlists, and then it says community. You can go to there, scroll down a little bit, and the list is there. The prompts that I'm looking at today are vase is one that I was really, I realized the difference between Canadians and Americans. Like one of the only two different words is like vase, is vase, I think, in the US. I've learned that from watching YouTubers. And then, so vase, and then the 1950s one is one that I really liked. And then there's nature. And I think those are the ones that I pulled for. So let's head over here and let's get started on creating some artworks. That's a bad angle of me. Whoops. Sorry for jumbling you guys around. Hopefully that's okay. Okay, so as I said, we had those prompts. One of them was history as well, so I kind of pulled this one out because I really liked that piece. Have I lost my screen? Oh, no, it's okay. Sorry, on my computer it was showing it wasn't working anymore. Yeah, so I really like this piece for history. I think is a perfect piece. Like, it looks like they're like in, like, I don't know, the Egypt or something with the pyramids around them. I think that one could be really cool. So that's for like history. This one is a vase that I found, but I also really like the back of it. And, you know, it's like almost like history. So sometimes it's like a happy little accident that the back of it actually looks really good. So that might be something that I do. And it still looks like what it's supposed to be. I could even cut these out just to give it a little bit more shape. But yeah, I'll keep that there. And then these are just a bunch of papers. I went and worked with a collage group, which was super exciting because I'm usually collaging by myself, and I find it really hard to create around other people, but I was able to cut out a lot of things. So I'm hoping that with these two and all of these, that I'll be able to find something that works for like a piece that goes with the theme that we were talking about. Even this, right, has like roses if we need like nature. See, like cutting that out and having something else go through it. Put that up there. Big TV, kind of fun. Bunch of little TVs, bunch of record players, sound pieces basically. So I'll put these. I really like these, so let's see if we can try to incorporate these because we have so many screens too. I wonder if like something cool could be there. Maybe I'll just put these in a pile there. Have this awesome woman, love her vibe, great vibe for her. This I just liked as a piece of paper for maybe doing like a abstract collage. Nice vintage car. I love this family photo. It's almost too wholesome to be put in the explosion pile, but it might have to. Loved this, thought it was really funny. Oh, here's another TV. Really, I love these photos. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to use them because I like the photos themselves like too much. I feel like these are like really wholesome and beautiful. We got legs. I really like these. And I actually had two of the exact same magazines, so I was able to cut out like duplicates of some things, which I thought could be kind of fun. I don't know, they feel really abstract to me, and like they have like lines on them. I don't know. I feel like this is the piece that is really speaking to me. Yeah, see, so I have the cat again. Really liked this photo. I don't know, just has like a nice feeling to it. I'm not sure what I would ever possibly be able to use it for. I got a lot of pens too. I really like this photo, it's so cute. I'm gonna put the pens in this pile. I really love this photo too. I think it's like, again, it's like too wholesome to make scary, but I might have to. Got cameras, more people. I like the hand idea too, putting something in a hand. Like, this TV would fit pretty well if we wanted to do something in regards to that. Not sure what it would be. Another TV. I told you I had so many TVs yesterday, and I liked how this like advertisement had like the little statue in it as well. You're right to be proud. He didn't have a chance, said a friend. They threw the book at him. I thought that was funny. And then, yeah, more pens, cameras. I really loved this illustration. I think I could see it like literally cutting out the lady behind it actually, but I just left her in for now. I'm just not a fan of illustrated people. It's just something that like doesn't really speak to me. This one's a little bit different because it's actually like for the prompt versus like I just, yeah, I don't know what it is. I like using like a little bit more realistic looking people. Oh yeah, and this is this like gross ad. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted this. It says, and here's a snapshot of my sister. She's only a kid, you know. And I think that's all I have to say about that. There's so much wrong with that statement. It's like, yeah, you knew it was wrong, and then you know, probably like 100 people saw this before it got approved and all that, which is gnarly. Okay, oops. I was trying to do a piece yesterday, like a black and white one, with her. And I thought that was kind of funny. Definitely a work in progress, but I thought it was like a good little start there. And I like this photo of like the buildings. I think this could be interesting with like an abstract, like really bright foreground piece. Just not sure how yet. Oh, and if you watched my last live, I had this pile of like women on the phone, and now I have like way more women on the phone. So I definitely think like my idea of like doing one about like cheating on someone, like this is perfect. And then yeah, this photo I think would be perfect. Like having this and then having like, I don't know, a bunch of wires coming down to go to like all these different phone lines, and yeah, just showing like the ultimate player life, I think would be pretty funny. This one I pulled for this because it said 1958 on it, so that's the 1950s. So we have that as an option. This piece, I really like this picture. I think it's like extremely wholesome. It kind of reminds me of, I have a piece called Balloon Day, and it's like a man holding his child's hand, and the kid has like a balloon, and I put them in like the mountains, and it's just like all black and white, and I think that this would be really cool with something like that. So I wonder if I could like cut out to here, and then have like a really cool background or something like that. And then this one I just pulled as like a nice kind of simple background. It's always good to have like something more simple. And yeah, this one I pulled because it had telescope. I know this is microscope or whatever, magnifying glass. Silly me. But if I cut out this and put something like really close up, like a galaxy or like something like that you don't want to see that close to, would be kind of funny. So I just pulled this as well. But I'm not gonna lie to you. There's something about these legs that are giving. Oh my goodness, I think I have an idea. Okay. They just look so abstract. I wonder if they could be like a plant. Ooh. I don't know what the history has to do with it, so maybe it does get flipped around. I mean, that looks pretty cool. Done. I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, that's like a pretty good start. Do you have a hand in there too? Like limbs instead of. That's kind of interesting, eh? Maybe I'll cut off this first and let's see what we get. And I'll look at the comments quickly. I love the comment saying you get butterflies when you know it's right. I do agree that I think that there's a level of like intuition when it comes to like painting and collaging and art in general, songwriting, etc. that sometimes you just like know when it's done, and sometimes you know when it's not done, and then some of those pieces I just like never finish, or they never feel like they're enough. That's definitely something I feel. I'm just gonna go like this, make it easier. Sometimes I like to keep the pieces because I like that little box, but yeah, I just don't want to risk ripping, especially with fingers, and when you're cutting in these little crevices, like it's way easier to rip the paper if you have like weight to it. So it's my little scissor tip of the day. And I guess my other scissor tip is to never cut in like a perfectly straight line unless it's not a human. Whenever it's human, like we have no straight lines on our body, so I like to make sure that everything has a little curve to it. It makes everything look just a little bit more alive. And nails are hard because if you miss a little piece, they kind of look like claws or something. It's kind of similar to like a face. Like if you cut the nose, even just a teeny tiny piece off, it's like this face looks really square very quickly. Okay. There's the hand. So she's definitely going to need something that like goes on this finger so that it's like a bit more hidden. Just going to clean this up slightly. Didn't get in far enough here. And I left a little bit on the bottom here because I think it's like a shadow. Hopefully it's fine. This one has a little bit more just in this one spot. So let's see. I mean, over top would be kind of cool. I gotta cut this point off too. Sometimes it's like you cut exactly what the image has, and it like for exactly, but then you cut it out and it looks like really strange. I find that happens sometimes. And that's kind of fun. I think for sure the legs can stay. And then yeah, I'm not sure about this hand yet, but we have a lot of other hands actually. Let me just quickly look over here. I have like a ton of things that I've been cutting out over the time. I mean, I cut this out in like, I don't know, 2020 maybe. I thought this was funny. Forgive her, she's only a woman. I've been doing a lot of cutting lately. So I just have like so many girls. Oh, there's another TV. Why don't we put that in the pile? Girl. Oh yeah, I really didn't like this shoe. But then I flipped it over and I was like, that would be really cool to have in a collage. The TV lady with two TVs. Oh, another TV. Yeah, I think we have to do something with the TVs because I have a lot of them. I also have these like wallets. I have like a bunch of wallets. So maybe I'll just throw those in the pile for fun. Oh, yeah, here's my other hand that I have. It's a little bit too big, I think, though. So yeah, we can turn to our people book if we need it. Because yeah, this one, way too big. Very scary in that scale. And then maybe I'll just do a quick cleanup. And let me check on the comments really fast. I definitely agree, like too many screens would be really cool as a concept, like having way too many, and we have so many here, and even like overly photographed, you know, like all these cameras. I think there's something to be done with this, so I'm gonna leave the hands here. I like the feet, but what if, you know, let's play around with this concept. Got all these TVs, all these records. What about like the consumption of media, for example, as being a topic. I mean, these I could cut out the screen and have like the foot on it. Would be kind of fun. Definitely not opposed to the idea of talking about like consumption in my pieces, so that could work. This one's red, so I'll put it in the center to give it a little bit more. It's almost like branches, right? This one's kind of creepy, but there's something about it that it's kind of it's speaking to me. Let me put one of these over here instead to space out the. This one feels too big if I was to do. This one's like too thick. It's like sticking off too much. I like the idea of the cameras, but it might be like too much, and these are like, this one's supposed to go like this. It's kind of just like a weird angle to have a photo of. Could the pens also be like fern leaves? Kind of cool. I don't know if they exactly tie in the meaning, but I kind of like it. It's just like goes with consumerism, signing away your rights, or I mean, we used to have to sign for credit cards, right, all the time. Yeah, I wish I had a couple more TVs that were closer to that size, because I do have her, but yeah, this one's definitely too big. I don't know, I kind of like this. What do you guys think? Let me check the comments. I think it's kind of interesting. Like, you could put wallets, but I mean, I could put wallets like coming out of the TV even. It's kind of interesting, because they'll almost have the same size. Like, it's almost like the TV is a path to your wallet or something. This one might fit better in this one. You can like cut into it and have these like tucked in and then like falling out of it almost. I still have this one then. I don't think I have any more wallets either. That was like a Christmas ad that I was just cutting out. Yeah, let me know. Let me check the comments. Okay, our comments are that I like this. I like the wallets. We give our money to consumers. The media tree, I kind of like it too. Okay, so we got some positive ones. Maybe the hand you cut out could be holding a TV. I like that idea. Um, I like this comment too. It's kind of disturbing how prevalent, blatantly sexist, misogynistic, and overall gross ads used to be run back in the day. Um, Definitely, 100%. Yeah, this is definitely feeling like media consumerism. I mean, this, as I said before, like this TV almost fits. But this is when, I mean, we're talking about like when does it become a series? Like, this is a great idea, but it takes up so much of the picture that it's like, does this become like another piece, right? Like, what if we had like another piece that had like a bunch of like bigger TVs and that sort of thing, and a bunch of other hands? Like, maybe they could be like different species. So this one's more about like consumerism with TVs and like video and cameras and music. versus maybe this one isn't TVs. Maybe this one is, I don't know. Maybe I could put like ovens, because these ones are all like woman hands. I guess these are women legs, but you know, they feel a little bit more abstract. I also have another pen. I kind of like the pen. Like it feels like a snake plant now. With the pointiness. It feels like sharp, you know, and the piece is supposed to be a little bit sharp. I like that. Okay. Well then, if we're doing this, so usually what I do when I'm working like this, and I'll give this as a tip to you guys, is if I'm doing something like this and it's so many pieces, usually right now I would just like take a photo of this, and then that way I will just push it to the side and then recreate it again after I've like cut out the pieces. But because I'm doing a live stream, no technology for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off to the side here, this one, and I'm just gonna do a one by one and put it back in the spot that it was before so I don't forget. I'm just gonna give you a little bit more of an exclusive view. Oops. Missed a little tiny piece, so I'm just gonna go back in really softly, scoop it. It's kind of cool. I like the leg of the TV, but the angle of this is just not working. So I'm trying to figure out, I mean, does it matter that much? Say like that, for example. Okay, let's take the next one. This one's a lot littler. I can probably go in a little bit closer. Sorry. Oh my god, that's way too close. Okay, that's probably better. This one might be a little bit big too, so I'm wondering if I should cut this little corner off just so I can like tuck it behind. Because I actually like having the little TV wires as well. There's certain parts of this that I want to keep. Let's hope that this is the right math. Okay, yeah, that's better. And then I think I'll just like cut off the bottom here. That's good, right? I'll definitely glue them like right after I cut all of these. That way, like, you keep exactly the angle that you want. This one we could almost go the opposite way, and this one's a little bit harder because it actually doesn't cover the whole thing like the other one does. We do have this other TV. I think this one's like too small though. I do want to find a wallet for that one, so that will be another day potentially. But yeah, with something like this, usually what I'll do is I'll just cut this out anyways, tuck in the piece, and then just keep keep this piece as well. This one I might actually just do like the corner here to have it tucked in. But then it's like maybe we could put something cool in the TV on the background, but for now, I'm happy. funny when you like cut out so much stuff. So I have so much cut out right now, and that these all just kind of like work together. I'm using so many pieces at once that I cut out this week that I would have just not been able to make this piece had I not cut this out. And I've had this piece cut out for so long, so long. So, um, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Okay, I guess that one goes back there. Let's zoom back out. What do we think? That looks a lot better, right? Let me get some better light on there. Okay, let me go check in with our comments quick. And also, if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, I see that I have a lot of you on the line. Just make sure to like this video. It really helps me as a creator. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new here. I gain a lot of subscribers from live streams, which is a crazy thing to do. And yeah, so just check in with that, and add your comments. I like the comment saying, have the wall it's raining, like make it rain. I think that would be pretty funny. And hello, Anne, thank you for joining. I agree. These, yeah, the TVs just have such a good aesthetic to them. I think about this a lot. I'm like, I don't really understand who designed like the new cars, and maybe this is controversial, cars, wallets, pens. We just like, I just feel like there's no like class anymore. Like everything used to be so classy, and now we're lacking the class these days. It hurts my soul. Ooh, that could be kind of cool. A little bit more. I like the idea of like the wallets floating around it too. Might be a little bit too busy though. I don't wanna overwhelm the viewer. Okay. If I do it like this, which I probably will, I'll end up cutting this and just glue it like that. I like having the foot having the leg on it. That's kind of nice. There we go. I almost want it like higher up. Sorry, gotta get this in there. Yeah, so, and I'm also going to cut out, oops. I'm also gonna cut out these vase spots here. Just don't wanna break anything there. Okay, next one. Oops. Usually when I'm cutting like this, when you're going in, you want to go from the other direction so that it doesn't like pull and rip your paper like I just did up here. It's funny because it's like, I know that, but then sometimes I just like forget to do it. Especially I feel like when I'm doing like live streams, because I have to like think while I'm creating versus just fully going in flow. But that's okay. I like doing them. Just different. Okay, that's pretty good. I would just say, yeah, like maybe this, I mean, the TV has like a thing on it, a tag like it's for sale, so that's kind of cool. Oops. I'm wondering if I don't like this camera as well. I wonder if there's like, I could add like another TV or something here, because it definitely needs it for balance. Like right now we can feel like it's just, oops, let me give you even higher up. This piece is getting massive. I think this is, what is this? Probably like 20 inches almost, the whole piece. But yeah, so I wonder if the camera, like definitely something needs to be here, like the weight needs to be here, like that. But I don't know if it should be the camera. I think I should take the camera back. And I think that's something I'll have to go looking for because I don't have any like right near me right now. The only other TV I have is like this one, which is cool, but way, way too big. It would be cool if maybe this was the planter. This could be the vase, maybe. Could try that just for fun before we wrap up here. Pretty fun. And then I guess I would just cut here and have them popping out. I think before I put these in, but I think that this is a great idea because it's like this is the literal meaning of a vase, and this is can be a vase as well, right? Like we're still creating something that is a plant in a place, and that's kind of like where I like to do things like this because it's expanding your mind, right? Like, yes, this is one. Yes, this also could be one on the back, but yes, this can also be one, and I think that that's kind of where we gotta try out some new things, right? Just for fun. Even if it doesn't stick. Now this is looking like really alien-like. It's feeling a little creepy, that is for certain. I have to put these pens back. I think like everything's a little bit more crammed in this one. I'm still liking it though. Like I think this with like a really kind of more grungy background would be fun. Like if I found like a lightning background or something kind of evil. It's like a new take on. I feel like everyone does like a pretty vase and they paint a pretty vase, and this is like your worst nightmare if someone got this for you and was like, I got you a vase of flowers. You'd be like, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my whole goddamn life. Correct? I'm gonna see it through. Let's if I was to keep this option, which I might. It's extra creepy. I think this one needs to go like all the way over here. Expand that. Want this higher up. This is the fun part about creating, and something I used to not do is like post everything I made because, you know, sometimes they just don't look you like your art. Like this does not really feel like a lot of my other pieces. But I think that's like the beauty of art is like you're just trying new things, right? And sometimes like if I do really like this, I could continue to make things like this until it becomes ultimately the only style I have. Um, so yeah, just makes you think a little bit more. This one I'm gonna put down here. Try to make these look like more like branches, but yeah, I don't know. The issue for me is like this part is too cluttered right here. But I like, yeah, I like the pen idea though, so it's hard, but maybe I could have them coming like behind the TV. And they're like taller. Sorry if it keeps shaking. I keep hitting my head on it. This is like the story of my life. Every time I'm creating something, like always hitting my head on the camera and it gets jiggly up there. I don't know, that's kind of fun too, right? What do you guys think of that? Let me check the comments quick. Tis the season for creepy. It definitely is. We're into spooky season very soon. One of the comments is, now I really think a cache pouring out uh, of a watering can would look amazing. Really, really reinforce the idea of like a media tree. Um, yeah, I don't know. So this is, yeah, this is option B. I'll say option A is the one with the planter that's a little bit more like this. Maybe I'll get you guys to vote in the comments of which one you think is better. In the actual comments versus the live comments. I don't think people get to see the live comments after, which I have the settings set to that you should be able to see them. And I wish they were on like the screen for you guys after when you're rewatching it so you can see the conversation that happened because there's so much great stuff going on there. But yeah, so let's say this is option A, this is option B. Maybe we can think on it, or option C, I guess, if you like the color. This is kind of fun. I'm just not sure exactly what it means unless it's like colonialism, capitalism, just everything wrong with society in one or something like that. But yeah, these are great. I'm really happy I came up with something. It's always scary doing a live stream and hoping that you don't make something terrible and that you actually can make something and feel inspired. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Maybe I'll flip back around and we can just do a final thoughts for everything. There we go. Hello, hello. I just will jump back on here and do a quick conclusion. If you guys have any questions, like last questions, I see there's an A and a B and another A, so have some definitely some controversy here. The large CV, yeah. So I guess we have a couple A's here. Oh, we have some B's now. Okay, so yeah, it'll definitely be one of those things. I'll check back in the comments later. For now, I think I'll scan in all of these pieces, and that way I have all of them, and then I can make a certain one. As I said before, like that's kind of how I get over it, is just being able to have like all of like the pieces online, so I can scan all of these, and then if I decide later I want to switch something up, I got that option. I love your collage shirt. I want to, so this is something I'll show. Oops. I'll show you guys quick, but I have this shirt. It says Collage on it. It's supposed to be the one from Animal Farm that's like College, but it says Collage. My partner actually made it for me, and I want to be able to sell these in my store eventually. I think they're really funny, and it's like very subtle, and no one really gets it except for the collage community. So I think it'd be like a fun little shirt. And if someone you saw in the wild had like collage on it, that'd be pretty cool. So definitely, I'll definitely do that within the next like 6 months. Give me some time. I guess let's. I think we're pretty good in the chat then. What is the definition of vase? A container of sorts? A TV, a container media? Yeah, exactly. It's like a container, right? And is a TV not a container or that holds things? I think it's funny too, like if you think of like dreams and stuff. I don't know if people have this, but I've never had a phone that works in my dream, and I feel like my brain doesn't perceive TVs and screens and those types of things. So I do think it's interesting that it's like now it's like a thing that holds things. Is like a fun idea. Sometimes I make things and I'm like, wow, there's so many different thoughts within this that I didn't intend to have. So I really hope that that was enjoyable for you guys. Thank you for having so many of you here still. That's amazing. It's really cool seeing my channel grow slowly and like picking up new people and finding new appreciation for collage and all that stuff. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I will definitely keep you guys posted on when the next one is. I try to do one a month, probably like closer to end of October so that we can work on the October prompts. Those ones will be coming out October 1st, which I'm trying to think of what date that is. I think is it Saturday or Sunday? It's one on the weekend. You'll be able to try out the new prompts that we worked with today. Really excited to see what you guys make. I'm seeing so much amazing work right now. It's crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not even creating as much as you guys are. So I'm really happy that you guys really enjoyed using those. And I guess final notes, I just want to say, yeah, thank you. If you're new here as well, I will plug my website, flanzella.com. I sell all my art prints there. It helps me as an artist, and then you have something beautiful for your home. So I hope you guys are able to go check that out. And I think that's everything, unless just see a bunch of thank yous and thank you for sharing. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here. I know that it's different time zones and all that, so I really appreciate it, and I hope you really enjoyed. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. I guess you have a video coming on Saturday, so you'll see it then. Bye.